morning, everyone. It's quite different facing this way round. Nice to see you all. As you've heard, I'm Georgina, currently the Chief Executive at Dorset Community Action and also the Chair of the RESAVE. So, let's start. Thank you, Katie. I was saying, and what exactly is the RESAVE? Because obviously we have the jargon issues to deal with here. So I'll spell it out as clearly as I can. The 3 and the S stand for third sector. Otherwise known as voluntary and community sector, social enterprise, otherwise known now by government as the civil society sector, maybe big society sector. Effectively, it's us. So thank you for being part of that. The I is for infrastructure. Now, for a lot of people, that means roads and bridges and those kind of things. For us, it means the support and development organisations that there are available for you as communities and voluntary organisations, so that's the I bit, and the G is simply group. Hopefully I don't need to go into more detail on that. So, who is 3SIG? Well, these are the members. Dorset Youth Association, Volunteer Centre Dorset, Churches Together, Dorset REC, Dorset Agenda 21, Citizen Advice in Dorset, and Dorset Community Action. So these are all of the organisations who, in whole or in part, are working to support you as communities and voluntary organisations in Dorset. We've done a lot of good things in the last couple of years. We've got a good amount of money in from capacity builders and the lottery. We've worked on the Dorset Compact, and we've taken up key influencing roles in the Dorset Strategic Partnership. You'll probably just heard me mention capacity builders, and I'll come on to that in a minute. You may know that capacity builders is one of the quangos that is now coming to an end, and that is affecting us as support and development organisations. But before I move on to that, a little bit of good news. Together, we are still going to be able to provide you a whole host of services, and these are just a few of the highlights: support with volunteering, funding advice and training, information resources, organisational project development, community development, networking opportunities, support with representation and influence, and support to partnership development. And obviously within our grouping we have people who work with specific types of organisations, so Dorset Youth Association working with those of you who are supporting younger people. We have Churches Together working with faith groups and their communities, and Dorset Agenda 21 working with sustainability groups, or with any group who's interested in improving their sustainability in an environmental sense. Thank you. We are also, however, managing change, and we are trying our best to do this together as a group of organisations. We are facing loss of funding, as I said, capacity builders, which has funded a lot of development work and local workers over the last couple of years, is coming to the end at the end of March. We also are facing the challenge of new contracts. You'll have heard from the County Council this morning about their plans for funding support to the voluntary and community sector, and that will be new contracts which will be rolled out, or a contract which will be rolled out for October this year, is our understanding at this stage. And we're also obviously dealing with the changing needs of you, the people that we are here to support at these difficult times. I would also add to that we are also dealing with trying to work in wider partnerships. There was a comment earlier about Bournemouth and Poole, and certainly we speak often to our counterparts in Bournemouth and Poole and need to consider how we can work more efficiently together to make sure that you're getting a better service. Having said that, obviously there are lots of people who are concerned specifically with the rural matters that face us here in Dorset, and we need to make sure that those communities, rural communities, still get that specialist support that they need. We're also already noticing over the last few months an increased need for the services that we provide. As we talk about things like communities taking on public sector assets, then there is more work for our development workers, our specialist advice workers, our volunteer outreach workers to be doing to help you bring those things forward. We're also working in an interesting national context. I don't know how many of you saw the government's consultation paper called Supporting a Stronger Civil Society. They seem to be suggesting in that paper that we needed to be moving more to using websites and toolkit resources to using volunteers more, and that's probably quite hard for people who are already volunteering an awful lot of their time to hear. And also they've talked about the possible introduction of bursaries, which means you as voluntary organisations might be able to access some funding, which then you can choose where you spend in terms of the support and development that you would like as organisations. So the question I think I have for you, rather than, I will answer some questions as well if you want to ask any, but my question for you is, how might this affect you as organisations if services want to move in that direction? One thing I can assure you is that 3SIG is working together to continue to support you as voluntary organisations and communities. And really the rest of the session, we've got about half an hour, is your chance to speak about what help you feel would be most useful for you, how your needs have changed as voluntary and community organisations, and to tell us what more we can be doing to help you. We find ourselves at a difficult time, having to balance the pressures of wanting to challenge and change decisions which feel wrong and difficult, with wanting to be positive and to take the opportunities that are presented to us and move forward. And we as support and development organisations are trying to respond to those things, to give you all the information that you need to help you challenge decisions, but also to give you all the support you need to be positive and pick up opportunities. So hopefully we can meet both of those needs. But now, please over to you. Please ask any questions that you have, or maybe make any suggestions that might help us answer some of these questions. So, anyone want to say anything?
I think what they... Sorry, I've got anything in mind.
Sorry.